Hello, everybody. This is James Hall. Welcome to Restoring Heroes Project. Look, I got a whole lot to say in a little bit of time, and I want you to see something before I bring my special guest in. Where were you when this happened?
I want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
It's different, ain't it? Something to think about. Because of that particular moment, I looked at the footage, I looked at different angles, and I thought about the shooter. And then I heard later on that there was someone that lost their life. And it made me think about masculinity in just two types of masculinity going on in this world. So I'm bringing my special guest today, dear woke Christian. I'm bringing Jason to the stage.
Grace and peace, everybody. Good to have you. How's it going?
I'm doing fantastic.
I love it. I love it. Hey, man, thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, this whole thing brought up so many feelings about different types of what is considered masculinity in this world. Because this shooter, I think his name is Matthew, or I can't remember his name because I'm remembering the name of the hero more. He thought he was doing something great. He thought he was protecting people by shooting the person they've been calling Hitler and a threat to society and all these other things. So
yeah.
Threat to democracy, a threat to your big toe, a threat to your puppy dog named Cecil. He thought that he was doing the right thing by shooting at him, but he ended up taking out a oh no he ended up taking out a hero of sorts.
No, for real. It's fair to say that his actions of cowardly actions actually revealed a hero in the midst and gave the gentleman we're going to talk about in a moment an opportunity to be a hero. And I mean, to the very end, where sometimes we do something heroic and it's not to the end. It's not writing a check, a blank check for everything.
Yes.
This gentleman did, in fact, give his very last. And I mean, we'll definitely talk about it and get tapped in for sure.
Yes, sir. I don't mean to share that right now, so let me get that back to what we're doing. Yes, yeah. One of my thought processes behind this, and the reason why I want to bring this up, is you have a good eye about what's going on the more political aspect of things and what's it look like, and I wanted to bring you on to talk about how manhood and masculinity does not just stop at living your life at church. It's not just a Sunday thing. It's not just a you put your pants on, you don't wear dresses, you don't let your daughter put female polish on you, all those things. Not just
For
that,
sure.
but it's all of Christ for all of life. So we're masculine and we're men in every aspect of our lives, and not just on Sundays or just with our families at the dinner table, but we're masculine even in the booth. We're masculine even in politics. We're masculine and even in those things.
No, I agree 100%. Looks like Courtholic is in the right place. Good to have you.
I think you're in the right place.
No, you're in the right place for sure. You're in the right place. And let's take a second to unpack that. And I think you're making a great point. There are some key elements of things that we do as men that rise to the level of being masculine. Sure, fighting off an invader and running into a burning building. Those are things that we do that are masculine, but that are seen as being definitely male things. However, the simple things of taking care of our families and loving our wives, being committed to what we say we're going to do and we're going to do it, loving the Lord our God with all our heart, minds, and souls. Those tend to not get the attention, tend not to get not a lot of ink is spilled about the day-to-day actions that we do, but they're just as important. I'll even say more important because there's so many more of them than the once in a lifetime pulling a person from a burning car wreck
Right.
or something
Right.
of that nature. But every single day, as long as you've been married and as long as you've been a dad, you've been responsible in that household to be the male representation of Christ likeness in this household, so that your boys know who they're going to grow up to be like, your daughters know who they want to marry, and such like that. And your wife is safe knowing that she made the right choice to marry you. So
Yeah.
I think we should look at those opportunities, to the multiple opportunities we get every single day to shine forward as men, to shine forward as strong, godly, masculine men, and not cowards like we saw in Philadelphia. I'm sorry, in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and because it is a different. This is that one guy was more effeminate than masculine, but there's different. There are two different types of men working simultaneously at that time. The guy who was shooting and the guy who we're going to talk about in a few minutes. The one who protected his family from the shooting. I want to show a video of I think it's ABC talking about him, and then I want to
real
talk
quick,
about
James.
that. Yes, sir.
Real quick, before we get into that, it looks like you have a lot of people showing up in the chat. Maybe they could just real quick just chime in. Where are you from? Like, where are you from? I see, Andy's Moments. I see Transplanted Texan. Looks like Courtaholic is in there. Just real quick, drop your state. Where are you from? Just give everybody a chance to kind of tell who they are, where they're from. It'd be great. Just to lighten up the mode. We got Black law student in the building. Good to see you. Grace and peace. Mandy as well, right? I see them all popping in there. I love it. Transplant Texan is never going to accept that they live in Arkansas. It's always going to be caveated by I am from Texas, living in Arkansas. It'll never not just be Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Just Arkansas. Just accept it. You're in Arkansas. All right. Hey, well, good to have y'all. Thank y'all so much. Man, James, thank you so much for inviting me in. Thank you so much for all these great people. Oh, what video were you going to show?
Well, let me put it in.
Let's do it.
Crowd, 3 adult men who were attending that rally. One of them did not survive. Corey Comprador, a 50-year-old firefighter, husband, and father of 2 daughters, remembered as a hero tonight. He had brought his family to the rally, and tonight his family says he died jumping onto his loved ones to protect them from the gunfire. Here's Whit Johnson.
I'm going to keep on going.
At the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Company, black bunting hangs in honor of 30-year veteran Corey Comprador.
He's a guy with a smile that lit up a room, volunteered here for years, doing life-saving stuff for complete strangers, putting his life on the line.
Corey's uniform still on display in his locker next to those of his fellow firefighters. A day earlier, the 50-year-old husband and father was in the crowd with his family at former President Trump's rally as a hail of gunfire erupted. An attempted assassination against Trump. Corey killed in the chaos while shielding his family.
And that's enough. I can't do much more of that. It's a heavy thing, but it's a testimony of what you're talking about, Jason, about the men being masculine in the more mundane things, being faithful over the little things. So when the big things come, you're already ready to go. You know what I mean?
If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Right. You're already at the dinner table faithfully with your children. You're already reading your Bible studies and reading with your family on a regular basis, or regular as you can. You're already going to games. You're already there he was already there for his family.
Facts.
So him covering himself, or taking himself to cover his family was no big deal to him, because he was already there for his family. He was already in the mundane, in the minutia of what it is to be already a masculine man in the family.
Absolutely. And let me also just point out that, you kind of see it in a very quick hint from the gentleman that they interviewed at the fire station when he said he had a smile that could light up a room. You can tell that he interacted with people. So you can say he probably was demonstrating this on a day-to-day basis. This wasn't just a one-off. Because again, you only get one time to protect your family and dive over them and shield them from bullets. You only get one time to do that. But the firefighters and the people that interacted in his community, I think that's a day-to-day activity that you can count on. And that's where I believe he probably shined even greater than the way he shined in his final moments, was the fact that he was a day-to-day masculine man.
Yes, yes, and you contrast that with I don't know the young man, I don't know his life, I don't know anything, but you contrast that with that cowardly act. That means day to day he was walking like a coward. Day and day he was on his soy boy. Day to day he was on his effeminate. Day and day he was on his fighting against the creation role and fighting against the way men are created. Day to day to get the gall enough or to muster up his cowardly enough to take a shot at someone and end up hurting and maiming and killing someone else in the process, it is a great contradiction or a great contrast. That's what I meant to say, between Mr. Corey and the young man there, the former firefighter who threw his body on top of his family to protect, and a young man that was willing to throw bullets at someone to take a life away. It's a big contrast that I was seeing there.
No, that's super dope. And I mean, if we wanted to get into the fine weeds, we could say that the gentleman that pulled the trigger was only 20 years old. And I talked about this on my channel before as well. I'm like, hey, he's 20 years old. He has not actually voted in an election yet. So when you do realize that he just recently graduated, so there's a lot of disconnect. Like, what is wrong in your life and what was not shown to you as proper manhood, dealing with problems that at 20 years old, you wanted to take the life of another person.
Yes.
For what? Like, I would love to even know, like, what would be the reason for that? You want to take, like, I could see if you had to take the life of somebody because they were going to take your life. Okay, got you, self-defense. But there was no reason. So what had been shown to you, what had been shown to this poor young man that he did not see any way out except to resort to violence, which I'm pretty sure he had not been doing that before. I don't think he had been like a serial person. So like what had been going on and going wrong in your life that you would pursue this as an option? And I mean, think about it. I mean, the whole transaction is seconds long. We're not even talking minutes long. So this man, while you're pulling the trigger, this man is immediately deciding to protect his family instantaneously. While you're making a decision to try to take a life, this man is doing what he can to protect the life. I dare say that he's probably did a better job at it. The firefighter Corey did a better job than some of the Secret Service people did.
Come on now,
that's a whole nother discussion.
Sometimes you got to talk about the
Rent-A-Cops, the Timu Secret Service that they had. The Secret Service from Wish.com.
They went to the Paul Blart Academy.
I don't know where they came from, but my goodness, in the morning. But shout out to Kimberly. You deserve to get fired. But but understanding that this was an opportunity for you to demonstrate what masculinity looks like. But I think on a day-to-day basis, somebody let this young man down. Yes. There was somebody who presented as masculine, let this man down. And he wasn't properly prepared to deal with his emotions, wasn't properly prepared to deal with the things that he's been faced with. Let's just be honest. I mean, the world is a very difficult place. We live in a very weird, upside down, bizarro type of world.
Yes, sir.
But your response to it needs to be proper. It needs to be proper as well. That's not a proper response to a tough world. What that coward did. It's
a offshoot or the fruit of living in a hyper feminine world where the boys, you can't tell a boy not to cry. you can't tell boy, hey, toughen up. You can't tell him that because you'll hurt his feelings. Well, when men are in their feelings and they don't control their emotions, you get the crap that we got. This is what you get. You get school shootings. If a father was in the home raising his boy properly, you wouldn't have a Trump shooter. You wouldn't have Columbine. You wouldn't have all these things when men are out of control emotionally. Why? Because you have too much of a one side of what a kid needs. You have too much mothering. This boy is probably over mothered and under fathered. This boy is probably messed up in the head from TikTok and all these other things
absolutely
that goes on your emotions and your dopamine receptors and all these things, and you don't understand how to regulate. So it goes to what you were saying before about how did this young man even think about, okay, look, I don't like this guy. He is a threat to democracy. He is literally Hitler. He kicked my dog Cujo. He did all this. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get a gun. I'm gonna go get on a slope roof because for some odd reason the rent-a-cops can't see those, and he's invisible. It's an invisible cloak. I'm gonna get on that, and then I'm gonna take a shot on live TV at this president, and not even thinking about everyone else below, because the mindset is if you're with Trump, if you think about being with Trump, you are guilty by association. So if he deserves his eye, everybody else deserves to die. If he deserves to be burned, everyone that believes in him or not believes in him, that supports him, that likes his policies, heck, that watched The Apprentice one time on a Saturday night because it was a rerun. All those people need to go and need to die. They deserve it. And this is the mindset that's going on in this world where you have a lack of masculinity in a way that was sacrifice. Men don't take. That's not our goal or our thing. We don't take. The goal of men is the glad and the joyous responsibility to take on things, to take on responsibility. So we're not going to what I mean, we don't take life. We protect life. We don't take funds. We provide funds. We're not the guys, but we do take on responsibility. And this young man blamed Trump for everything that was wrong. Like he's been listening to some, news stations or something that blame Trump for all the problems and all that. Like he's been brainwashed with these type things that, okay, long as I get Trump out the way, then all my problems will be solved. When no, the problem is you. You still have to live with you at the end of the day. And that goes for anybody that is thinking about the political people saving your life. You still have to live with you at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you still have to deal with your problems, regardless who the president is. And my Lord and Savior ain't on the ballot, so I ain't even upset about it either way. It don't bother me either way. But regardless of who the president is, guess what? You still have to deal with you and your crap. And what are you gonna do about that? You can't go shoot everybody just because you have a bad day. You can't just go off and what is the? You said it right. How do you even get to those steps? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, think about it, man. The dude is 20 years old. That means he was born in 2004. Come
on.
So, like, just process that. Like, that was just on the heels of 9/11. So he's never not known TSA. He's never not known the term Islamophobia.
Come on.
All of that stuff. So please understand, and I told people this on my channel before, please understand, he's the product of public school. And by the way, we're not running public school.
Oh, no.
So that's not we didn't do that. That's y'all. That's your team did that. So please understand, this is the byproduct of y'all's team, because
come on,
you can tell that there is a reason why. In retrospect, I understand why my dad said men don't cry. Boys, you better not start crying, because there is a feminization that happens when you just emote, when you run around here like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
you go around like this. You're just letting your emotions just hang out all over the place. Because one thing that we have different than women is the fact that we are stronger than them.
Yes.
And I hate to say it, we're far more devious. So if we're just running around here letting our emotions run rampant, and there's no guardrails, there's no control for our emotions, this is what we get. You don't get a well-balanced, well thought out, well poised, willing to look at situations and ascertain situations. You don't get that. You get a male woman.
Yes.
You get a woman wearing pants instead of a skirt. That's all you get. But the problem is we're stronger, so we can do things far worse than women could do. So,
Yes.
and please, women, don't try to one up us on being dastardly. Please, that's not a challenge to feminine to go start wars or anything. What I am pointing out, however, is this young man is the byproduct of our society, when our society has completely done away with the masculine guardrails that we need. We need men who are poised in their frame, that understand how to deal with their emotions and let their emotions simmer and boil and then die down, not explode out of them, because that's it. And so when we do nothing more than just say, oh, no, you got to let it all out. Well, they don't know how to control them. There's not controls. And when you're not in home, if you have daughters, you all know that any man that is in the house with girls knows you have to tell them, control your emotions. Because if they could, their emotions would splatter, would paint your walls if they could. But you have to call them in and wrangle them in. If you don't, you're gonna be a mess. If you got more than one girl and you got a wife in the house, bro, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
so,
sir.
But you have to be the one to be like, okay, my daughter called me today. Shout out President Firstborn. I'm sorry, she called me yesterday. I was here at the studio doing a recording, and she called me and she's like, I was busy. So as soon as I could get free, I reached out to her, and she's like, I was really having a rough go at it because I didn't do well on a practice test for something she was doing. And she said, I really just need to talk it out, but I got myself together. When I got home, I expected, her to like boil the bunny or something, like really gone crazy. She was just cool, calm and collected. And I said, hey, so tell me what happened. She's like, yeah, I was really not feeling well. I was really in a bad spot, but I got myself together and I calmed down. I'm telling you right now, that is because I have told her to calm down. Because any other time, any other rhyme, she would have painted my walls in all of her emotions. It'd just be the most ridiculous things. But that's what we're supposed to do. So I could only imagine, however, if President Firstborn was a boy that did not have guardrails and framework for how to calm yourself down, stop and think, what's the situation going on and so forth. There'll be havoc in my house.
Yes.
There'll be havoc, because then I'd have a girl, a feminine boy, who's probably as tall as me, probably faster than me.
Yep.
He ain't stronger than me, but my goodness, in the morning, it can cause a lot more problems. So this is what happens. Congratulations, y'all. Y'all have created these problems. Those persons that don't want men, y'all called it toxic masculinity. I bet y'all want some toxicity now. I bet you say, hey, well, what's the pH balance on that masculinity? Because I kind of want some of that I want
the high levels.
You want that high level. Is it nuclear waste, or is it just like yellow cake mix? I don't know, but I want some toxicity.
I want the green bunny with the 5 eye.
Right. You want some toxicity right about now. I promise you. As sure as things, soon as things go left, nobody reaching and calling for something. When your tire blows out on the side of the road, you're not calling for your girlfriends to come get you.
Right.
You calling that ex-boyfriend that you ghosted, your friend zone friend. You like, hey, yeah, that's what you call it. So you want toxic masculinity. Y'all called it toxic. But now y'all realize, like, oh, wait, hold on. Well, maybe I was a little bit rash in my approach. See how that works? When things go left, y'all really quickly understand that God, in his infinite, amazing wisdom, put two different genders. Wait, did you say two?
Just two.
Rascal sat there and said there was two genders.
There's two
genders.
There are
two genders. He put these two genders together to work together to equally sanctify each other. Trust me, my wife is working overtime. She gonna get overtime pay when she get to heaven, trying to help sanctify Jason. Trust me. So but that's the only reason. I'm saying, like, he brings us together for that reason. So
Amen.
more and more and more that we try to make man in our own image, we try to recreate man in our own image, the more and more crazy and insane the stuff is that we're going to watch. And please understand, as James has already articulated, my king sits on the throne. My
Amen.
Lord rules and reigns over the circle of the earth and affairs of men. So I don't, as long as Christ is not on the ballot, I'm good to go. I'm gonna watch this, and I will laugh at you. There will be no shame.
No problem.
I'm offended. I will laugh at you as you try to recreate reality. And you want me to believe that fat meat isn't greasy. You want me to believe that it's not raining and whatnot. If you want me to believe that, if you want me to,
Right.
I won't. I'll laugh at you. However, you could join us here in reality. There are two genders, and it's not toxic masculinity. It's men doing what men do, and men having to do what men do. Because trust me, in the middle of the night, I'm telling you, somebody beat on the door. My wife is not calling her sisters. She's not calling her auntie. She ain't calling my mother-in-law. She ain't calling my mom. She is going to shake me and Jason. Somebody beating on the door. And my wife, now she'll be worried for a second, but she'll know that if Jason walk down there, Jason will take care of it.
Really? It's time for Second Amendment.
Second Amendment, and absolutely all hands. It'll be what I like to call only hands.
Only hands.
Only hands. It's only hands. So so anyway, at any pace, that was my little snippet. I appreciate
this comment by the Black law student is very astute, and because you're thinking ahead of what I'm trying to do, Mr. Black law student or Mrs. I don't know which one.
No, this Black law student is a guy.
You're a dude. Okay.
Yep. Good brother. Okay.
Well, yeah, the men they have problem with the men that have a problem are being raised by single women, basically is what you're trying to say. I agree. I think we have you can look at the stats and figure. I was talking to my friend Eli Williams, and locally in Ohio. I'm from Springfield, Ohio. So locally we have a man fatherhood initiative, and this guy Eli has been doing this since 2014 or so, trying to get rally up men and things like that. But we were talking about how this problem is so evident. The fatherless pandemic, it's so obvious to people. We were trying to figure out why is it taking people so long to realize the issues. You know, if a dad is in the home, teen pregnancy goes down, poverty goes down, unaliving or suicide rates go down. Like, do you realize that all these things go down when a father is doing what a father is supposed to do? When a father is being toxic and telling his daughter, hey, take off that shirt because it's too tight, or it's too small, it's too short, go put on some other stuff and take that stuff and give it to the Goodwill. You're wearing your Barbie doll's clothes and you can't even fit that. What do you do? Where'd you get that from? You have it's so obvious when men are not there.
Facts.
That is shocking to me. It's like if I put my tinfoil hat on, it's like the government and other entities want men out the home. It's like they want chaos. It's like when you want to hurt the people, you bind up the strong man. It's kind of like that. Like it's kind of planned out. And I'm not sure, but I know for a fact that the men raised in a single mother homes have a harder time, because I teach them too. I'm a teacher also. Have a harder time regulating their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
They can't take no because they get what they want all the time. They can't take when someone says, hey, nah, don't do that. They can't even take a hard prep. They can't even take pressure. Hey, do a couple more. I'm in the physical education department, so do a couple more push-ups. You're stronger than that. You can do it. Push that. Push on. You can do better than that. You can't take. They start crying and upset and tearing up and all this other stuff. And I think it's because what you said right here, Black law student. I think it's because of that right there, problem right there. You know. But
and let me also just point out. Let me also just riff off of what Black law student, shout out to Black law student for that comment. Also want to riff, like, they don't know what they're supposed to be like. If they don't actually have a man around them. Like, how do you, like, let's just be honest. Let me just be honest. how is a woman, let's just say you're a well-adjusted woman, no problem with you as a female or as a mother, how are you honestly going to tell a man, or a boy rather, what he's going to be when he becomes a man? Like, what is the, how do you honestly do that? And you can't just say it, because you got to actually model it for them. How do you actually do that? And please don't tell me about, getting a community or it takes a village. I fall asleep when you say that. Don't do that. So how do you honestly do that? How does it work? It doesn't. Just tell the truth, shame the devil. It doesn't. So the problem is we're putting these boys in situations where they don't actually know what they're going to be like.
Yes.
And they don't know what they're supposed to do. So they do actually emulate this. If you disagree, watch this. If you disagree, just step back and watch boys at the mall or boys on the playground or boys anywhere, and just look and see how they play, how they interact with one another. And just ask yourself, is that what a group of grown, well-adjusted men would have been doing in the 30s? Would they have been behaving like that? Would my father's father been doing that? I was literally thinking about it, because my daughter does this all the time. She'll come to me and she'll ask me to do a TikTok dance, or she'll see something and she'll say, Dad, I want you to do this. And I say, no. And she'll say, but, give me all these reasons. I'm like, no, I don't do that.
Yes.
Go ask your sister. I'm not going to do that. And she understands now. But I thought she understood. Let me take that back. Shout out to President Firstborn, because she asked me yesterday, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend any mental energy, especially when you get over 50. Look, your mental energy is a premium. Okay, I'm not going to spend any mental energy to try to memorize these moves. I don't care.
Come on now.
I don't even care. I don't care. There's nothing about me that cares. And I thought about it. I was like, man, there is a 0% chance that if, TikTok and Twitter and all that was around when I was a child, there is a 0% chance that I would have went out to the garage while my dad was under a car bleeding some brakes or changing out an engine and be like, Dad, do this dance with me. There's no way in the world I would have done that.
Right.
There's no way.
And the dances, because I'm 40 and you're in your 40s, so I know the dances would have been way more difficult to Running Man, the Reebok. You know what I mean?
I just would never.
And he gonna take off he gonna look at you like, man, boy, if you don't get in the house, go play.
No, he'd have been like, oh, you need something to do. Like my dad, if you do that kind of stuff, my dad would have been like, oh, you need something to do. Because this grass needs this, and these brakes I need to press these brakes. Or why is this house not painted? It would have been something of that magnitude. So no, I would never done it. But I still would never, I would never thought my dad would wanted to have watched what was on Yo MTV Raps when I was a child, or a dance. Like, why do y'all think that we do that? Like, oh, that's because you think I'm your mom. Now your mama will go do that. I've watched all of them. I'm like, y'all, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. Because that's what they do. Okay, that's fine. But good and doggone well, Dad doesn't do that. It's very clear line. I think it's beneficial for society that there are very clear lines. That they're very, and I was like, why do we do it's been something I've been thinking about for the last couple of days. Like, I would never have thought to ask my dad to do this dance. So anyway, back around the block, look at a group of boys today and just ask yourself, what are they, and be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, but just ask yourself, is this how men should behave? Not what men do now because of, society and social programming, but just like, is this what men should be doing? Is that what they should be doing? Just ask yourself. Because
you have men like, and this is movie. I told you about this movie. I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Now, there's this part in this movie that I was not going to show, but I think I'm going to show, because this is what happens this is what men want, that grew up with their single mom, that grew up with this division, that Love Agenda said, with this division, because it creates dependence. That's actually really true. That grew up like that. This is what they want. It's the funniest part of the movie to me. This is what they want from their mamas, and this is what they want. That's why they want Camilla to be president and stuff like that. Again, my Lord and Savior ain't on the ballot, but I'm just letting you know this is what I'm gathering. I'm going to play this clip for you.
Why you wild, bro? You wild.
Like that. Ain't nobody laying a finger on my baby.
Ma! How'd you do that? Wow, man. You wow. No, I agree though. That's what they want.
This is what they want from their mom. Like they want that. They want the boys that grew up with a single mom and things like that. It's like it's not your fault. It's not their fault. So, but you end up if you don't curtail that, if you don't curtail that or trim that away with some real masculine men, some guys that fill in those gaps, some guys that fill in those spots. If you don't trim that away, what you end up with is a whole lot of mama's boys. And the mama bear gotta step in and you notice like when she was flipping, she turned into a dude and you know what I mean? Like she turned into a man.
I caught it.
She turned to a man to punch, and then she went back to a woman after the work was done. But that's the portrayal. That's what has to happen when you put a woman in that kind of predicament. She has to take on masculine traits, and then she could do the job. Then she got to go back and put whatever flowers or whatever on, and maybe it's Maybelline, whatever.
Right.
They got to do all that. Mama Bell to the rescue, exactly. But you end up having to do all that because you're out of sync of where you're supposed to be. You're out of line of God's design and God's creation roles. You're out of line, so you end up with this weird mix of masculine and feminine, and actually it ends up being neither. It ends up being more androgynous than what God has really intended for the design of husband and wife, male and female, father and son, father and mother relationships, brother and sister relationships. It ends up being a abomination, really, a mixture of things. It ends up being nothing God designed, and it always ends in chaos. Always.
Okay.
To the eighth power ends in chaos. Always ends in chaos.
No argument for me whatsoever. Good catch, brother. Good catch. I like what you did.
What's that? Entertainment portrays men and fathers as bumbling idiots. That, bro,
always does. But we if you go back and just watch men in the 70s, they were not depicted like men are today. If you go back and watch, you can watch sitcoms from the 70s. The man was the even if he was the comedian, even if he was the like watch the Jeffersons.
Yes.
Okay. Even if he was the comic relief a lot of the time, but George Jefferson was not effeminate. George Jefferson, he did have a masculine frame. If you look at I mean, again, just pick some sitcoms or good gracious.
He was more, I think with the Jeffersons, his comedy was based on him being headstrong and him just blurting out stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't just him being like he's an idiot, like he's not Homer Simpson. He just was headstrong and bold, and it was like he'll get ahead of himself, which made it funny. But same thing with like Sanford and Son.
There we go. Absolutely. And you can tell that watch this. You can tell, and please do not take that anything that I'm saying is gospel.
Mm-hmm.
Find you a friend in your circle that doesn't watch a lot of TV. Find you a man in your circle of friends, and they don't watch a lot of TV. They're not really up on everything going on social media. I guarantee you they don't act like a lot of your friends that do watch a lot of TV and do watch a lot of social media. Just something I'm thinking about, working through. If you do that, I bet you'll see, yeah, you know, Johnny's a little bit different than us. Johnny doesn't come across. He does seem more like what a man should be. Just something to think about. Not saying it's 100% accurate. Check it out. Let me know what you think. DearWokesy@gmail.com. There you go.
And look, this has been a wonderful discussion. But people in the comments, if you have, what do you think about our perspective? Is it off? Am I wrong? I saw a comment earlier that I didn't get a chance to hit because everything's going real fast. But I get a chance to from Monday Moments. Mandy's Moments. Real men cry. And I didn't want you to think that we were saying that you're unable to express your emotions when it's time to express your emotions. What we're telling our sons, what I'm telling my sons, and what I'm telling the students I teach is, just because you feel it at that time is not a good time for you to express it. It's a time and a place, just like Ecclesiastes says. There's a time and a place for everything, and it's not the time and place for you to cry in front of your competitors at a martial arts tournament. Like, that's not the time and place. Even though you feel the need to cry, it's not the time and place for that. It's not the time and place to cry just because you lost a game. That's not the time and place to do that. I know you hate losing. I get it. I get the emotions behind it. I get that you're frustrated. But what are you frustrated for? And is tears and crying the right answer to this problem? And that's what we teach our sons. That's what we teach. And that's what men should be taught also. And because we live in a fatherless world, we don't have a lot of that being taught anymore. That is labeled as toxic. That is labeled as wrong, to control your emotions. That everything that you feel does not mean it has to come out. Everything that you feel does not mean you have to do it. It does not mean you have to. That's why people have problems with lust and problems with OnlyFans and problems with all that stuff, because you feel it in the moment, because you wasn't taught self-control, so you felt it in the moment. So I got to do it. That's why marriages is breaking up. That's why there's abuse. That's why there's this shooter, because he felt it in the moment that someone needs to pay. Someone needs to pay for all the pain that's going on. Someone needs to pay for all, and it has to be Trump, because this guy, going back to the beginning of the show, this is the guy who they said messed up everything. So he has to be at fault. So if I get rid of him, all my problems will be solved. No, sir. No, young man. You take responsibility for you, and that's what you teach your sons. That's why we say, we're not saying real men don't cry. Yeah, we cry. I cried at my daughter being born. Well, my baby girl had to have heart surgery. There's reasons to cry.
Absolutely.
You know, there's reasons to cry, to tear up when you think about the goodness of the Lord and what He's done for you. Like, there's reasons to cry. But every time you feel like crying does not mean you need to be crying. You have to assess your emotions. You have emotions. Your emotions don't have you, and that's what I'm teaching my son. And that's a response to Mandy's moments. It's not I'm not angry. I'm just like, I'm really passionate about this thing.
No, that's a dope catch. I'll give you an example. In elementary school, way back in elementary school, I used to walk home from school, and as little kids do, little boys do in the inner city, we were fighting. So a boy who was much bigger than me wanted to fight me. And I knew that this was not going to go well for me. I knew that he was going to more than likely beat me up. And so what I did was we have alleys in Illinois. So we were in the alley getting ready to fight. So I took a bottle, and this is why you don't cry. Well, why you teach boys not to cry. So I was already upset because I'm like, man, this is going to go south, and I'm going to get beat up. I'm going to get beat up. I know this is coming. This butt whooping is coming. So I had already started crying and getting out of frame. So not thinking clearly at this point, I grabbed the bottle and I hit it against the light pole. I'm like, let's get at it. Let's go. We're fighting. And lo and behold, the boy's face is, there were blows thrown and I threw punches. Not bad. The boy's face is bloodied. And everybody was like, yo, like Jason beat Jose and busted his nose.
Mm.
And everybody's like, oh man, Jason. I had slit my hand busting that bottle and didn't realize it.
Mm.
Cut my hand down to the white meat, down to the slave owner, right? So I ended up, I didn't beat him, okay? I might have punched him twice, right? The blood that was on his face was mine. My hand was completely blood. It was terrible. And when I got home, my mom was livid. And I had to explain to my dad, like, why I got this big old suture. My mom had rushed me to the hospital. Why I got this big old suture in my hand? Because I was out of frame. Yep. Now, sure, I still probably would have got my tail beat and maybe would have got my head busted open. I don't know. But I allowed myself to get emotionally out of pocket to do something as dumb. Because in retrospect, I mean, this was what? At best, I might have been 10. So for the last 4 decades, I've remembered, what was I thinking? What was my crazy butt thinking to take the bottle and hit against a light pole? What was I thinking? That was so dumb. I should have threw it at him, if nothing else.
Yeah,
I should threw that at him.
And then what was at the end? What was your end goal? Like, you never thought about, like, if you were to
know.
stab this kid, what was going to happen?
That's why. I truly believe I had gotten out of my ability to think clearly. I was emotional, like, dang, I'm about to get beat. I'm about to get dog walked out here in this alley, and ain't nobody, and I don't know, just got out of pocket. So had I been thinking clearly, I probably still would have got my butt beat, but I wouldn't have had a suit. I would have slit my hand open looking like a crazy guy. And I could have thought more clearly. Maybe I should have ran. Maybe I should have done something else, threw the ball at him and just booked it home. I don't know. But I was no longer thinking clearly. So my point in saying that we teach our boys not to cry is it's not just the tear action that's the problem. It's the emotional instability that comes along with it. And like not thinking clearly. I know good and doggone well, you don't want no fighter pilot running around here crying as he's trying to defend. You don't want that. You don't want your cruise ship captain crying. No, you saying, oh, you better suck that joker up. Get on Spirit Airline. Well, you shouldn't be on Spirit. Get on a real airline and let your captain be crying. I bet you won't get on that plane. Why? Because you know that's not emotionally, that doesn't look like a good look.
It's not stable.
It don't look stable. So no, I'm not saying that men don't cry, and however you cry, that's whatever. I mean, James gave several examples. I'm sure we as men and fathers could probably give 25 other reasons why we cry, and that's fine. But not everything needs to be. Not every crying needs to be in an adversarial situation. Probably crying is not the best look, or in a competition, probably not the best look. When you get home in the comfort of your own home, sitting beside your wife, man, break down and get a box of tissue, whatever. But I think being understanding of that is where we were going.
Yep. Let me get back to this comment. It's transplanted Texan. Women need a man that knows when to be strong, so she is free to release her emotions, as she is a weaker vessel.
Amen. All the amens. Can we just type amen?
Just type amen. I'm gonna type amen.
I'm gonna type amen.
That was good. That was
good. Real quick.
Amen.
I'm gonna type it in capital letters too.
Yeah, I gotta do that too. That's important. I'm gonna do the first letter capital because that's grammatically correct.
We don't do grammar. I'm gonna write it 10 times the wrong way. How about that? Now say something to me. Say something to me.
I'm gonna do it just the E. How about that? I'm gonna do just the E capital. How about that?
Okay, that's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Sometimes you gotta do stuff like that.
I got you. No, good catch though, transplant Texan.
That was good. That was solid. And to get back to what we were saying about the reason why we're talking about it again is once that Trump thing, because I really don't even think about political things as much until that happened, and I saw the different masculine frames. So you got this young man who shot Trump and shot at Trump and shot other people behind him out of his frame, out of his masculine frame, out of his masculine, where he just emotional and in his feelings and thinking that killing this one man is going to solve all his issues and all his problems based on his TikTok, his Instagram, his MSABC, his whatever, his CNFNs and whatever he was listening to, right? Then you have this man, Corey, who jumped on top of his family in a split second because he put himself in harm's way to protect his family, and that is true masculine. That's in the masculine frame. That's what Christ did. He died. Oh my goodness, he died. He died to protect you. You know what I mean? Like this is the true masculine frame. And you have this young man here who someone said earlier in the comments that I'm gonna put it up here if I can find it. Oh, it's transplanted Texan, that his family worked in the healthcare department and had, you know, like, but it's still at the end of the day, he chose the more effeminate route, the more the non-masculine route to I'm gonna kill someone to solve what's going on with me. I'm gonna kill someone to solve someone in the mindset of I'm doing it for the greater good. And that's what's scary about this. That's what's evil about this thing. Corey jumped on his family for the greater good. He knew he could sacrifice his life for the greater good, for the good of his family and his wife. This young man said, I'm going to sacrifice someone else's life for the greater good.
Right.
For the good of everyone else.
So he thinks,
right. So he thinks. This is the same thing that happens with the abortion mill and all that stuff. A woman decided, like, look, I'm gonna sacrifice, and a man that's promoting it, man that's helping her along the way, are doing the same thing. I'm gonna sacrifice somebody else's life for my good, for my convenience. It's my convenience. That's all I think about. It's really all about me at the end of the day. And once you think about it, you know, I'm gonna sacrifice someone else's life for the greater good instead of you being the sacrifice, you being the man that gets on a grenade. That's one of my favorite parts of Captain America, where you being the man that does that, he decides I'm gonna take out someone else, and that because in his mind he's been trained and he's been trained to believe that was for the greater good, to sacrifice someone else's life for the good of the whole.
Yeah. And and there's a lot of problems with that thought process. But the bad thing and the sad thing is that I bet you if we could rewind the clock and talk to that young man prior to that event, I'm guaranteeing you, as sure as my name is Jason, he has no clue what the issue is. He has no idea how to articulate what the quote unquote problem is. He just knows that this person that they've told me, because again, this is the byproduct of the indoctrination camp. The left is running that. So this is your problem, y'all.
Yep.
So he can't say that it was, you can't say that this is a right-leaning whatever. You can say he's a registered Republican till your cows come home. That's not what we do. That's not us.
Yes.
That's y'all. So but I guarantee he would never have been able to articulate what is the actual problem. What is the problem? And I'll go even a step further. I guarantee he would not have been able to give me at least 8 other solutions besides the one that he executed in Pennsylvania. Like, what's another solution that you could have to this problem? If you're saying it's a real problem, if he was able to articulate a real problem, how could you explain another solution?
And that's what happens. That's what happens when you're not taught to stay and stabilize your emotions. You're not taught to be sober-minded. You're not taught to have self-control. You have no other solutions. You end up with the throwing a fit. You're just throwing a fit in the corner and crying, and everyone got to pay. And you're a teacher just like I was, and everybody got to get out the room because little Johnny want to stand on desk and throw chairs and things like that. And everybody has to leave the room and let Johnny cool off and break the pencil sharpener.
I never did that. I never did.
I'm just saying this is how we're trained.
Johnny
right?
always had to leave my room.
Johnny, you got to get out.
And again, shout out to all the teachers. But yeah, I've only had that happen once. And we don't leave the classroom. You can leave this room. You're welcome to leave. And you can go out in the hallway. If that's where they want to deal with you out there, knock yourself out. But you're not going to be in my room. I've worked too hard and I do too much. in here. No, it was never. No, we'll never leave my room. I'm sorry. Okay, I just wanted to say that because that was never going to be the case.
All right. You see this comment right here, sir? I have a problem with his last name.
Yeah.
So transplant Texan, you trying to challenge me. I've been practicing his name, so I'm hopefully go get it right. Corey Comparator sacrificed his life and sacrificed himself to save two, his wife and his daughter. This young man was willing to sacrifice many to save himself. Come on now, you preaching. You preaching.
Watch this. What did that daughter? What does she see now? Like what kind of man is she going to be looking at? Is she going to be looking at the coward on the rooftop, or is she going to be looking at the one that would be willing to throw himself in front of a rain of bullets to protect her? Yeah. So I mean, there's levels to this, as my brother likes to say. Shout out to James. Today is his birthday. My brother James. However, this kind of, it's going to take people sitting down, thinking and reflecting through these situations to help start turning this ship, because people need to realize that we have bad thinking. This is horrible thinking, to think that one person is all of your problems. That's crazy. Wait. I take it back. I'm sorry. One person is your problems. Is your problem. You're right.
It's you.
It's you. You is you problems.
You is you problems.
You is you problems. So you're right. One person is you problems. But the problem is you can't fix you. You need to go to the foot of the cross and get fixed. That's it. There's no other way around it. So in this regard here, there's a lot of soul searching that needs to happen in America and globally, that we need to reflect. Like, our problem is not Trump. Our problem is not Kamala. Our problem is us. We're the problem.
Why didn't you say Weekend at Bernie's guy?
Say again?
Why didn't you say the Weekend at Bernie's guy?
Because Weekend at Bernie, I have lots of problems with. Well, first of all, he resigned, man. He told us that he quits.
You sure that was him?
I don't know, bro. We can have another show about conspiracies about that.
All right.
About that speech yesterday. But man, I think there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with that thing. But
there's one comment from Susan Q. John 15, this is actually the scripture I was thinking about. John 15:13. No greater love has a man than to sacrifice himself for his friends. And this is, we're going to have to give an account for why we allow the mindset of getting rid of one person is going to solve all my problems. No, my problem is not me. No, I'm perfect. I do everything right. Everything's cool. I don't really do nothing wrong. My problem is that guy in the other state that really doesn't change anything is the reason that my lawn is long. Like, no, bro, you got the lawnmower. You go take care of your,
cut your grass.
Biden's keeping me from doing it. Trump keeping me from doing it. Kamala keeping me from doing it. You talking about Kamala Harris, and that's all the way in DC, and you all the way in Georgia, or you're all the way. So they're keeping you from taking personal responsibility for you and your family. Yeah.
I literally talked with somebody yesterday who told me that it is the government's fault that they have a minimum wage job. I'm like, come on, man. You got to break that down to me, man. Where in the state code does it say that this person's name must work at this place for a minimum wage? I got to see this, man.
Yeah, you got to work at.
You got to show me that, man, because I think that's an injustice. If that is in the state code that you must work a minimum wage job, and I've been noodling this out. A lot of this stuff is sin being played out. You do realize it. Yes. I mean, if you look at God's very clear, very clear and articulate 10 commandments, you'll see there's a lot of sin going on in real time in 4K that we've just masked as something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a perfect example. Covetousness.
Come on now.
We spend so much time looking at what James is doing, what Susie Q, what Transplanted Texan are doing. We spend so much time looking at what they're doing, what they have, and we spend zero time doing the same thing for ourselves, looking at what we have, looking at what, but we're always comparing. And it's almost like God, in his infinite wisdom, was telling us not to covet because he knew that it would generate like a level of discontent, and you would actually spend less time doing for yourself and more time looking at what other people have instead of you. Man, it's almost like he's infinitely wise, so
like
much
he did it on
wiser than
purpose.
us. Say again.
It's like he wrote it on purpose, huh?
I mean, really, like, man, like oh, he knew that I was a mess. Kind of like he knew that.
And it's covetousness. It's not just covetousness in the political terms where you want what you have, but it's covetousness that I'm gonna have to bring it up because it's in there. That brings up the race dynamic of everything all the live long day, all the time. That people really believe that you have less melanin make you a more superior person, like, or people believe that you have darker melanin, you have some type of magic that you have to call out in a Marvel movie to make sure the hero does the right thing. Black girl, man, you got some type of weird because you have more melanin. It's this covetousness of you believe that just because a parent does what they're supposed to do, which is pass down wealth from generation to generation, that that's a race thing. No, it's because that our sometimes our parents our parents didn't do well, and my dad wasn't around, so I had to do the opposite. I had to vow when I was younger that I'm gonna be there for my family, and then I am gonna make a heritage for my children's children. My children are gonna have a leg up. Does that mean that my children are better than anybody? No, it's just when you make right choices through the power of Jesus Christ, all of a sudden the blessings come and right things happen. It's not necessarily that your color made it happen, or your lack of melanin didn't make it happen, or your lack of the more melanin you have made it happen. It's all about the individual and what they do, the personal responsibility. Transplant Texan, you were putting it on. The personal responsibility, the putting the responsibility on yourself is lacking in this country, and we blame it on this factor and this factor, right?
For
But
sure.
it's really that covetousness. You're looking at someone else's things and you wish you had it, and you really want it, and you're willing to do anything for that.
Absolutely. Great catch, man. And so, yeah, because I don't want to spend because we could really go for 2 more days on that topic for sure. But no, it is a lack of personal responsibility. I mean, we like to hyperfixate on things that we can't change. And we see this in real life with people that worry about things that happened in the past. Because you know the great thing about, or rather the bad thing about fighting over the past, James,
What?
can't change it. So
Nothing
it
you
really
can do
doesn't
about it.
matter. Again, like with my example of getting beat up in the alley, I could talk about it, I can pray, I can wish, I can do everything I can, but it will still be a reality that happened. It'll never change. So it really doesn't, all this going on about what happened in the past. Granted, yes, there's some instances where we do need to know and remember what happened in our past, but do we really need to go to this degree and this level of it? Because it'll still be exactly what it is. That's another reason why reparations is a bad idea, because
Come on now.
there actually isn't a finish to it. So I know a lot of people are upset about that. There's not actual finish to it because there actually isn't a sin, and there isn't a sin that was committed against you, and there's nobody against whom you're exacting that sin from in real time today.
Yes.
So there isn't a sin, there isn't a sinner, there isn't a sinee, or one that's been offended, and there isn't a way to properly compensate for it because it was in the past and it wasn't actually done. So there's no way of stopping. If you pay reparations today, there's no way for our great grandchildren to not say that they needed more.
Yes.
And our parents just didn't add. You gave my parents 10 million. You really should have given them 45 million. So now they're asking for reparations in 40 years, if that were the case. So it is a fool's argument, but dearwokesy@gmail.com. I'll gladly answer it.
Restoring Heroes Project at gmail.com. You can send your complaints there. I have a punch monkey, and he will take care of all that. Oh, see, transplant Texas. I'm glad you transplanted from Texas. I really do. Philippians 3:13-14. But one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining towards what is ahead, I press towards the mark, towards the goal. Sorry, I memorized it in King James Version.
I know.
The goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. It is about forgetting what's behind you and keep on moving forward. You cannot hold on to your past. I was discussing this with my wife, and we're talking about things that we went through in younger ages and things like that, and how we're talking about how far God has brought us. We're not using it as a victim mentality of how we can't move on. Like, I grew up with it I grew up first of a single mom. Me and my brothers were a single mom. Then my mom got murdered. Then I grew up in a 2-family home, but it was my aunt and my uncle. I knew that they really wasn't my parents. It's not like, so I grew up in this awkward, I didn't have the same last name as anyone all my life, and Wow. I could be a victim. I could be sad. I can do whatever, especially what I saw when I was younger. I could definitely have excuses to do many of things, right?
For sure.
But Christ got my heart. and I forget those things that are behind me, and I press towards the mark. I forget what's behind me, and I take responsibility through the power of Jesus Christ of what I can do with it. That's true masculinity, and that's real masculinity. That's what we need, and that's what we have, and we don't need really another. We don't need the monster of the feminine culture to all come together and line up to have the Kamala in office. I don't think we need another. We don't need a mom to lead us. We've been having mother-led society. You see what's going on if you just look at this. It's so obvious. So look at the stats.
Look absolutely.
Look at the stats of what happens when the father's not in the home, and look who's been leading the home, and then look at your boys, then look at your daughters, then look at the music, and then look at who's rapping the music and who's singing the music, and look at how they dress, and look this
an honest assessment would bring you to the conclusion this is not a good look. I mean, just be honest. Just be honest. And maybe you don't want to be honest. It's okay. Look at society today and just let me know that it's better because of the way that we're running it. Now, you're going to say, well, how do we run it? I can tell you emphatically, not the way that we're currently doing it. That's without question. No discussion, no debate. We just need to have an honest discussion about what we're doing, because I don't think we're being honest. We're literally lying to ourselves. And we're lying to ourselves.
Yes.
Like, y'all want me to vote for Kamala because she's a woman, but y'all the same party that don't know what a woman is.
Come on now. How?
I mean, technically, following y'all logic, then Trump is a woman. There you go. I'm voting for Trump because he's a woman.
Right. Because he said it one time.
Well, because right. And Joe Biden might have called him a black woman. I don't know.
Yeah, he said
he might have said it. So it doesn't matter. Y'all are the party. This is the insanity. This is the thing. Like, the thing is, I don't think many people have challenged the other side to see just how insane their discussion and concepts are be. I have a lot of people that get in their feelings when I say that. Please understand, the Democrat Party is a party of death. They don't actually seek to do, they don't see themselves in the future. You know this. They want to munch up their children in the womb.
Come on now.
They don't want people to marry and procreate.
You're right.
They don't do things like this. Is the party of death. Just accept that, admit that, tell the truth, shame the devil. It's the only way that you're going to get better at it, and the only way you're going to get free is to actually be honest and say, yeah, this is the party of death. Like, we are trying to kill everybody. that's it. And now, with that understanding, now you need to go and repent, and you need to change your ways. Now, does that mean everything that the Republicans do is true? No, they got issues too. So don't worry about them. They got warts. So it's not a whataboutism.
Yes.
What am I going to do about me-ism?
Yes.
So with that being the case, just admit it. Like, y'all are a party of death. You
like
want
that.
Unmitigated death. That's it. Tell the truth. Now, You can be healed of that. You can be restored from that.
Mm.
But you have to admit it first. Like, you can't just be lying. Oh no, we're about life. No, you're not. You're really not. You're
Not
really
even a little bit.
not about life. You're not. You're not about living into the next generations. You're not.
Heck, you're not about choice. If you talk about, you only can choose what you want them to choose. If you are a black person, you're unable to choose to have a conservative mindset. You're not allowed to choose that. You're not truly black. You
Well,
can't
there you
choose that. If you're a woman and you choose to not have men in your restroom, you can't choose that, because men have to be in your restroom because they said there were women yesterday when they didn't have, they said they're women, and you have to believe them, because saying you're a woman all of a sudden gives you woman parts. And now what you say, because you're the genie off of Aladdin, you can just wish yourself woman parts, and boom, you're a woman. And then boom, you can go in a restroom with my daughter because what you choose. But if a woman chooses not to do that, well, she's a bigot, she's a phobe, she's a ism, a schism on the prism.
On the prism. So no, good catch, man. Great catch. Great catch. Yeah. So this was a good call. This is a good conversation, man. Let's see what we got.
That name
Right.
is ridiculous, man.
Mamala, that promotes, like, again, like,
Kamala Harris promotes deleting children. Yeah.
hey, show me a person on the other team that spends this much energy trying to justify the deletion of little people, but in the same breath tries to claim moral high ground for allowing refugees or fighting, protesting a war 9 time zones away. Show
Come on
me
now.
somebody who tries that on the Republican team that is just as passionate as this. When you're literally stateside, munching up and deleting little people, but you claim morality and you claim moral superiority in all these other areas. Let me know.
Did you know, yo? So I just read an article, bro. No, it's a clip. I don't think I was on X or Twitter. I'm a dead name it. Twitter. That's what it is. That Kamala, you remember back in the day when Project Veritas went back in the background of Planned Parenthood and got somebody talking and got them talking and got them admitting that they sell baby parts.
Yeah.
That they sell like baby livers and little baby toes and stuff like that to other people. You know who was a part of the prosecution who decided to prosecute the journalists and not Planned Parenthood?
I'm pretty certain her last name rhymes with Bears.
Right. Fakana Paris. I can't believe it. Fakana Paris, she was part of it. And I was like, what? So you want us to vote for that lady? You want us, or we ain't black. I get it. So if we don't vote for her, we ain't black. Right? we have to. We ain't black and we don't
ain't
vote,
black.
correct?
But I'm gonna let you know that I am black, and it doesn't matter what your political ideologies be, whatever they are. I don't care about those. One of the things, if you want to have a fun experiment, ask a person that supports Kamala Harris to tell you what she's done in the last 48 months that justifies her getting a contract extension and promotion. In the last 48 months. I really truly don't care what she did as a prosecutor. I don't care what she did as a senator. What did she do? What has she done in the last 48 months? And just wait.
I think she mastered the art of saying a whole lot of words, but never saying nothing.
I like the words that Trump uses. China. I like the way he says that. So you know what? I'll go with that. So if that's the best you got,
like she mastered the words.
He's more comical. So I'm gonna accept
mastered the phrases of saying, like, in the passage of time, in the time of passage, you have time inside the passengers that fly over where with and whither that may be not the passage of time may be. And she looked at the camera like she said something smart.
Bro, that hurt my heart. That hurt my brain, bro. No, if you ever want a good experiment, ask them to explain. And you got to be real clear. In the last 48 months, I don't care. because you do realize she never won a presidential primary. She's never led in any primary poll. So that's beyond the point. The fact that Joe Biden selected her was already problematic for the left already. So now tell me what she's done in the last 48 months that make you say she will be a good president. And immediately, I guarantee you, within 9 words, they will say Trump.
Yep.
In 9 words.
Or we need this. This is time. It's time for us to have Kamala. We need my mom. I mean, we need Kamala in the White House.
We really don't.
We need my mom. I mean, we need Big Mama. Kamala in the White House.
China, if you think North Korea, if you think
North
Russia,
Korea, oh yeah,
are shaking in their boots because of this woman, yeah. Let me tell you something else, because that's not the case at all. I'm just saying that's gonna be wild. But I'm here. But again, as I tell people before, and I'll say it again, my hope is in Christ. So
yes,
Kamala, if she became president, she's Jesus's president over the United States. And Trump becomes president, he's Jesus's president of the United States. They're all serving, even though they're the leader of the free world, their leader is Christ. So he moves them as he sees fit. So if he sees fit that Kamala runs this place, then that's a clear indicator that we're under judgment. If he so go ahead and start asking for your supersized asteroid with a side of number 5 and a jumbo millstone to drink. So just go ahead and accept it, because that's what we get. We get this. We deserve this. Y'all do realize we deserve Kamala. We deserve Trump. The fact that we've had not really good political and candidates for so long should have been a good indicator that maybe we're in trouble. That should have been a good indicator that, yeah, we might need to do something, because we've put ourselves in trouble. Because don't forget, this is a representative government. They represent us. So the bloodlust of Kamala, yeah, that's us.
I can't say it's us, because I don't.
Well, I'm saying,
I think it's something like you said. We reap what we sow. We've been calling good evil and evil good for so long in so many other places in life. You know what I mean?
Right. When I say
covetousness, go ahead. Sorry.
When I say us, I'm being in the most royal sense possible.
Oh yeah.
Just the royal, like humanity, not Christ's church, not Christ's bride. I'm just saying in humanity's sake. And Christ's bride is like, okay, whatever. I guess this is what it is, and it's gonna be what it is, and I'm gonna participate in this process. But at the end of the day, I realize that my Lord still reigns. We're not the hand wringers that are feeling like the world's gonna come to an end on November 5th, depending on whoever is elected. That's not us. I'm just saying that we in the royal sense, deserve this type of leadership, because we've completely left the biblical mandate and the biblical representation. So there we go. That's what I was saying.
Yes, completely. Like you said earlier, completely switched the roles. We've been not liking the nuclear family. We've been allowing things to just slip past. I was talking to somebody a while ago. They pushed the button with cuties, they let it slide back. They pushed the button with Little Kim, and now we got Cardi B. They pushed the button with Foxy Brown, and now we got Megan Thee Stallion. They push it and push it and push it and push it. And we as Christians have been really yes, sometimes we huddle in, sometimes we look for the rapture, sometimes we left behind, sometimes we whatever. And as the world is burning and we have a message, we have the message to get them from where they need to be, from where they are to where they need to be. But we spend a whole lot of time complaining about things and not doing anything about it. And that's what's been convicted me. Are we going to sit here and complain, or are we go, okay, well, then what's your family look like? Or what are you doing in your household? What are you doing around a dinner table? What are you doing to train your son? What are you doing to train your daughter? What are you doing to help your wife understand different things in the scriptures? And are y'all having conversations about it? And are you able to be corrected by her and she's able to be corrected by you? What are y'all doing in your local church? Not just serving, because that's a weird thing to me when people talk about serving. That means you have so much stuff that you have to do that you need volunteers. That's what the church is trying to tell you. No, what are you doing in your local in your local church community to have fellowship with other believers so you don't feel alone, so they don't spend time on the phone scrolling and getting all this mind rot from Instagram and TikTok and all these things and X, and they don't get all this. They spending time with fellow believers, and we're spurring them along in the way of the Lord. And
Okay.
what are you doing? Just like Dear Woke Christian, Restoring Heroes Project, we have Trust God Cry Pete and April Chapman and the Jacunis and all these guys. We are trying to not just complain about everything that's going on, but we're really trying to do something about it. So you got secular media putting out filth and all this other stuff and showing you all these irregularly lascivious things, and then you have us Christians who's trying to come out here and give you things from a Christian perspective. We need those things. What are we going to do? Are we going to take responsibility, or are we going to blame other people for the rot that's going on?
Right. No, good catch, man. Good catch.
So that's what I've been thinking. Let me see these comments. I like to hit that like seriously, if this has been valuable to you, please hit the like button. Please comment below all that. Do you are we off base with our analysis, or do you feel something different about it? Whatever you want, put it in the comments. That's greatly appreciated. And push the like button. That's greatly appreciated. Let me see what Susie Q said. I'm sure there is a lot of people who don't want Trump, but no one wants any of them candidates. You're right.
The damn candidate. You're right. I mean, to me, I'm like, well, all right, you say this, but you do realize if you don't support Kamala, then who are you supporting?
Right.
Like, what are you gonna do? I
Gavin
mean, fine. If you're a Dem, go ahead and vote
Gavin
for
Newsom.
Kennedy. Like, throw your vote behind Kennedy if you're a Democrat. I mean, that'd probably be your best look. Do that. But yeah, I'm not. I don't really. At the end of the day, I think it's very interesting, but at the end of the day, I'm not really that emotionally and mentally invested in it, because I know that whomever is in office will be working at the behest of Christ. They're still working under Christ.
Yeah, that
No, she's talking about former leaders. She's talking about North Korea and them. Yeah, that would be such an interesting yet sad.
Like, just because how you go translate that, bro? It's like I don't even know how to translate like what you just said, because that made no sense at all. And then the cackle, that's weird. But they could probably go. They could try to go for another man who decided to destroy the city he was part of. He decided to destroy that state, which is a potty man Newsom. He wants to do in the poo poo all over the floor and all over the ground and the needles and stuff in his state. So they'll probably go with him, which I hope not, because that's another. We're swinging the pendulum too far. We're going from he's equally effeminate. He just has more charismania than Biden or anybody else. He's not a real masculine man, and neither. I mean, I'm not saying Trump is either, so don't put that out there either, because I think. But there is. I'm not sure what to do about this stuff, but because I'm not really worried, you know.
Right. So I think because we're not worried, we make a decision based upon the best information that we can make.
Amen.
And what we think will be the most that will allow us to live peaceably so that the gospel can spread. So that's it. But if we pick the wrong person and persecution comes, to God be the glory. If we pick the right person and prosperity flows, then we need to be ready to share the gospel. To God be the glory. So whatever happens, at the end of the day, Christ still wins and he still reigns. That's the end of it. So we don't need to hand wring and woe is me and the sky is falling, because we know that Christ still reigns.
Amen. Amen. I really want. Oh, thank you. What's this? Newsom and Kamala Oh, from California. That's true. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I heard that as well, but I think it would actually be great because that way you just win California. like let them both come from California, let them both win. Then that way you just win California because the other 49 states are going to be up for grabs. But if you put them somewhere else, if she runs with somebody else, there's a possibility of winning 2 states. But I'm not giving them much more than that. But yeah, that's fine. Let them both run. I don't care. They're changing the rules as it goes anyway. Please understand, having Kamala be the presumptive nominee without going through proper steps is avoiding. Remember the whole saving democracy? I guess you save democracy only when it's against the other person. Because if y'all had a primary, that was about 14, 15 million people that voted in the primary saying they wanted Joe Biden.
Yep.
And for you all to just say, no, the new candidate is Kamala without giving them an opportunity to voice it. Yeah, there's a pseudo level of listening to the people by going with the delegates. But on Monday morning, she said she was going to work for your nomination. By Monday evening, she had secured all of the delegates that she needed. I don't know what kind of work she did. Okay, I don't know. I am not going to pontificate on what kind of work she did to do that. Shut up, James. Shut up. Put yourself in timeout. Put yourself in timeout. I don't know what she did. I don't know what she did. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Does anybody know what work she did?
Oh,
did I lie? Didn't she say that?
that
did say that, right? Okay.
That is what happened.
I don't know what work she did. I don't know. I don't know. I'm worried.
Oh.
So that being the case, I don't know how. I don't know if democracy needed to be saved as much as y'all say it did, because y'all didn't seem to care about it when you violated it, when your democratic process was derailed through this. I don't know what that means.
Oh, yeah. Made us up the free market to say the free market. Yep. Except we didn't actually have a democracy. They don't actually have a democracy. They're trying to usher in socialism. And that's one thing that I was thinking about when we're talking about manhood and masculinity and being a man everywhere, 365 or 66 on a leap year, 24/7, being masculine everywhere means that you don't want nobody else working for you and you getting their money. That's not what you want.
I don't need that.
I don't want that. I never wanted that. And I struggled. We struggled being. I've been married for 20 years since I was 20 years old, and I struggled. I had to get. My wife had to get plasma. It was a whole lot of things we had to do to struggle. We was on public assistance for a little, but I hated every minute of it, and I had to get a better job. I had to not bootstrap myself, but I had to do something different to get paid more to actually provide so my wife can stay home and homeschool my children. I had to do that through the power of Jesus Christ. It was done. It was a blessing from the Lord. But I don't understand how you would want to vote in someone to him go work and give money to me. Him go work a lot more hours and give more money to me so I can make $27 an hour messing up your order at McDonald's. I don't.
Real quick, hold on. That comment about being from California, that's wrong.
Is it?
I just thought about it. George W. and Dick Cheney are from Texas.
Oh, but Texas is big though. What part of Texas?
Is it bigger than California?
I don't know. Who cares? I'm like looking at California on that map. It makes my eyes hurt.
So no. So yeah, that's not true. Like you can have both candidates from the same country, same state.
You said you need a timeout too.
Right. Corey probably does, because Corey is probably right there with you, James. Shame on Corey. Put Corey in 0-second timeout, moderators. 0-second timeout.
Oh,
absolutely. But
yeah, that one too. People don't understand. And my friend Alfonso Rachel, if you look him up, man, he was the first commentator. He the one that brought me over because I was in Democratic mindset mean, I grew up in the 80s, so in a black family, so you know, you're already Democratic. But this guy, Alfonso Rachel, he the one that told me about, and through his videos showed me about that we are Democratic, we are a republic, we are
a constitutional republic. Yeah.
Constitutional republic. So why in the world are we trying to say? Why are we playing with words? What are we doing? Why are we
because we've been saying it for so long, we've been allowed to get away with it. I remember when I was in high school when I realized that, wait, we're a constitutional republic. So when I came to college, I was a libertarian, and I made a lot of hay about the fact that we're not a democracy, we are a constitutional republic. So no, I wish more people knew that. Like, we're not a democracy. This is actually what they did not want us to have, was a democracy.
Right. Majority rule, where
because
all you do is sway majority of everybody. And also, when I finished watching, I just got finished watching, was Uncle Tom 2. I told you about that over the phone. And Uncle Tom was talking about, in the movie Uncle Tom, was talking about how back in the 20s or 30s, whatever, education was a lot better. So he said you can go out into the mountaintops and know a man that reading the newspaper and all these other things and are more literate than what we have in this country now. They knew what was going on because the Constitution, the United States, are for the Constitutions in the Republic are for people that already in the know, informed people. Right. And what we have is a whole lot of people that are not informed. We have a whole lot of men that are not informed, and not because the information is not out there, is because they don't know. Sometimes they don't know where to look, but also it's a lot of the times that everything else is the circus is so entertaining that they don't understand that the serpents around them choking them out. But because the clowns are out and big time, it's fun and it's good and it's laughter and the game is going on. LeBron James and his son, see, they together, and then but Serena Williams made fun of the kicker, but TikTok and Kendrick and Drake are fighting, and Eminem came out with a new album, and and all the time the serpent is choking them out and choking them out and choking them out, and they have no idea what's going on because the circus is so crazy. I said all to say that we are not an informed people anymore. We are not, and it goes back in the day, the nuclear household, the father and the mother raising children, going to church, being part of a community where the neighbors knew your name and could tell you, hey boy, get off of that thing, pop your bottom and tell your mom, whatever. Though that part of society has went away, and we're seeing the fruit of that social decay.
I love it. Good point, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
What is this? Social is meant to be a hand up in a moment of hardship. And now, yes, exactly. Not a life. It's not supposed to be a life support system, and not supposed to help you breathe. It's supposed to give you a hand up for a moment, and then you on your way. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's beautiful. Transplant Texas. I'm glad you got transplanted somewhere else, but it seems like you really miss Texas, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. James, this has been good, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything you'd like to add and things like that?
Man, I just want to say appreciate you, James, for taking on this discussion and being a voice in this space of discussing maleness in society and in culture. Hopefully we'll have more opportunities to do this and see what you're doing. I know you hopefully got some good things on the burner as the next couple of months or so. Keep chugging along, Lord willing. But yeah, man, thank you so much for having me, man. This is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to having you back on, or rather you having me back on. I'll definitely have you on as well, man. Come by Dear Woke Christian as well.
Yeah. Your streams I heard you got the best live stream in the nation. So.
The best live chat on the planet, baby. This side of Pluto, baby. You can't find us. You can't find nothing better than this live chat, man. None
And
None,
they've
don't even,
been doing a great job in this. And this is, I really appreciate the support. This is insane.
hey, but for real, if y'all are in the live chat, if y'all could just check out what James is doing as a friend of his, I would strongly encourage you to just check out what he's doing. He's put out some fantastic projects. Please check out James. Where's my book?
I got your address. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you.
You know what? Strike that. I told James to send me a book. This dude has written a book for you to read to your children about masculinity. And this dude has not sent me that book yet. You know what? Never mind, y'all. Don't go to his channel. Don't subscribe. Don't watch anything that this beanhead rascal to put out until you get me my book.
Not the beanhead.
Y'all, please. I want this book, and I'm gonna give that book the business. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it in voice. I'm gonna read it in voice character. I'm gonna read it in Spanish. But James wrote a book, y'all, for real. He is an author, and he be playing it close. He be playing himself small. But please check out what James is doing. He's a good brother. He really, really, really wants the best for our families, not just those of the highly melanated, but for everybody. So I just want to say that just as my word of encouragement, my word of support for what James is doing. I would not have come over here tonight if I thought that he was going to be half-stepping or not doing his work. So I want to encourage y'all. I sustain my own motion. Please check out what James is doing at Restore Hero Projects. Check out his stuff. And if he send me that book, I'll read it online or something.
I'm gonna give y'all a sample if y'all want that. If y'all want a sample, I'll give you a sample.
Drop that sample.
Drop that sample. Thumbs up in the chat if you want a sample, because I'm not gonna play it if you don't really want it. All right, here we go. Full screen, please. Glasses.
Presents Goodnight Warrior, written by James Hall, artwork by Philip Butler.
Zap. Me and Daddy like to play. We play at night. We play during the day. My daddy came to me to say, we're going to play a different way. He gave me something called a gi and wrapped a belt around me. I was so nervous on the day. I met a man they call Sensei. Sensei was big with a gi like mine. He had a belt too, but black, not white.
That's all y'all get. Y'all can't get any more.
Can't get more
than that.
Okay. On a cliffhanger, 1980s style.
The book is called Goodnight Warrior. You'll find it on lulu.com, and type in Goodnight Warrior. I had to self-publish because I wanted the book to be it's a big book that you can open up and read and show, and the self-publisher the Amazon wouldn't take the size. It's just too big. So I had to do it. I'm trying to do it on my own because I got sick of complaining about the gay BCs and the Drag King Story Hour and all that other stuff. So I decided, look, I'm just going to write a book and have my friend Philip Butler illustrate it. And I think me and Philip
did it?
Yeah, Philip.
Oh, man. Boy, if I don't get that book, I'm telling you, if I don't get that book by Friday, I'm gonna put up some Photoshop. I'm gonna put up a Photoshop picture of you and Kamala together.
Oh no, not my mamala.
Yeah, I'm about to. Matter of fact, let me make it right now.
But my mamala.
I'm gonna have her like nursing you or something. I don't know. It's gonna be terrible. I better get that picture. I better get that book. You better hurry up, man.
He is blackmailing me. Blackmailing somebody. That's
I'm trying to tell you because blackmail didn't mail my black book. Jobs. What's wrong with us, man?
There's something wrong with us, bro. You said
there's something wrong with us, man.
We got problems. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm working on my Photoshop right now because I better get that book by Friday.
Oh my goodness, no. All right. I can't believe, man, you do that to me, man.
Bruh, hey, I can't believe I didn't get the book.
Well, that's true. There's a problem. But yeah, I got it. I got your address. I got your address, so
right.
So I'm gonna do that there.
Yeah, could you put a link to your
Boom.
could you put that link in your description of your video?
Yes, in the description of the read along, and also that
No, of
video
this video right here.
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the comments and I can put it in the description.
Yeah, put it in here because when the video's over, the live chat goes away, so people might not go and look for it.
Okay, I'll put it in the description. Yeah.
No,
Later.
good stuff, man. Good stuff. But again, man, thank you so much, man. I'm glad you and Philip did that project. I need to reach out to Philip.
Yeah, he cool, man. He is a cool guy. But I really appreciate you coming and talking and helping me along the way. If you don't know, man, Jason is a really helpful guy, and you got a big heart. And I've covered his beard. I got the gray, but I don't got the size, and I'm not sure why that is. And I blame him. I really do. He is the reason.
I got some product. I'm gonna get you sent. I'll get sent to you.
I don't want your cocoa butter mix, juices and berries,
bro. Well, okay. Look at the juices and berries. Let the truth be married. Come on now. The chin crown is on point.
Yeah, you got it.
There you go. I'm trying to get you from a chin tiara to a chin crown. Let's go.
Chin tiara. You got a chin fro, a cho.
See, you're welcome. I'm here for it.
I appreciate it. Oh my goodness. We've been doing well. I really thank you, Philip Butler. If you don't, if you don't know who Philip Butler is, go check him out. It's Phil Code Joe on YouTube. Phil Code Joe, boy, is his stuff. He's a really good. He's an animator too. But yeah, that's the reason I wrote the book, because I got sick of all the other stuff going on, and I want to put it out there. And I really believe Christians, if you have talents to do something, do that type of stuff, go ahead and do it to push back darkness. It's our duty to use our talents and stuff for the kingdom, regardless of how far it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's where
Philip
I am with it.
Love it, brother. Get out of here.
So look, that's the end. Again, I really appreciate the live chat. I appreciate you, Jason, for coming through, and I can't wait to see what you got planned on in the future with Dear World Christian and things like that. And I'm glad I was able to connect with you and be a part of the experience that is Dear World Christian.
I appreciate you, man. It's been a lot of fun.
And like we are out. We thank you for I'm personally thank everybody. Susie Q, Carl Barnes, Transplanted Texan, you did a great job. As Mandy's Mondays.
Yeah, Mandy's Moments. Yep.
These moments, yes. Devon Dawson, I appreciate you. And then a Love Agenda. I'm not sure where he went, though. I don't know where we're out with. But I appreciate y'all coming in and really showing your support. And we'll see you next time. All right.
Bye. Grace and peace. Take care.
All right. Peace. In the live